hours. But what do you say?
Yeah.
We let some fans take a shot and ask you some questions.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, this is a cheat question because a gentleman by the name of David he asked, "How would you get such a cute drummer?" I won't tell you David's last name.
Oh, well, David, let's see. It's like it's like the Gremlins. It's cute and adorable, but if you give it liquor past 2 o'clock in the morning, it becomes the Goblin, and then you have issues. Dave, the one show he got a lot of too drunk, and we're at a Waffle House. I don't even remember, we're in Virginia or something like that. We're at a Waffle House, and our fill-in bass player Nick, he's like real quiet and reserved and everything, and he didn't the whole time. He's like, I don't want Waffle House, and I'm hungry, so we're looking. Mike's like, well, there's a Waffle House 2 miles away. There's a Waffle House 10 miles away. That's the only thing available. So finally, yada yada. We finally go in. They're like, you know what? Dave's too drunk. I'm not dealing with them. I'm like, I'll babysit the Goblin. The Goblin's out. It's past. He drank liquor past his time. He's in full form. He's eating grits and he's just pouring sugar on them and he's drunkenly slamming the sugar down every time. And Nick's all quiet. Do you mind not putting the sugar down so hard? And you have Goblin Dave. Okay. Oh, and it fucking shatters.
Oh no.
We're just like Nick, the fucking glass went in his waffles and everything.
No.
We're like, that's glass. No, it's not glass in your waffles. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit on the bus. We had to fucking clean it all up. Dave's just gone. So, as adorable as he is, don't give him liquor past 2 a.m.
Past 2. Jeez, yeah, that's illegal. Can't do that. Another question we have from Tara Harrison, aka Kennedy Kai. She was a former radio host in northeastern Pennsylvania. She asks, would you like to marry her?
Well, I could check that with wifey. We could have possible thruples seem to be the new way of the era. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, well, Tara, he'll ask for permission. And you can listen to the podcast episode I did with her. Her episode was episode 51. So if you want to get to know Tara, aka Kennedy Kai, you can check that out. And Bobby Falvo, he asks, what record from your youth is most memorable to you, and did it shift your course of passion into heavy music?
Oh, there's a couple like good points I'd like in like the becoming of me finding like music. The first CD I remember being obsessed with as a kid and like asking mom, like, yo, you gotta give me this, was Green Day's American Idiot. I remember that came out as like Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Longview is fucking way older, Holiday. Like seeing the songs, because I was starting to just watch all the music videos on MTV at that time. So it was like that, My Chemical Romance, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, and Dark White by Him were like the first 3 CDs I was like obsessed with as a kid. And then the heaviness started like maybe a year after that. It was a wrestling pay-per-view, and I remember it clear as day. It was when they first started doing the Money in the Bank, and Edge cashed it in on John Cena after he had a Elimination Chamber match, and it was their rematch. It was at Royal Rumble, and they had Stricken by Disturbed as the theme song, and that was just like, yo, this is kick ass. And it was super memorable because I always liked Edge growing up, and I always was like, he always was like mid contender. So I was like, the first time they put him in like championship spotlight, so I was like, oh fuck yeah, as a kid. So like I remember, Mom, can I get the new Disturbed CD? And I come home, they're like, look, we got you this. So that started that. So shortly after that, I think it was System of a Down, Toxicity, which is still like front to back one of my all-time favorites. they kind of pioneered it. And then my buddy Patrick, he showed me Slipknot, and that's when the rabbit hole went like, it was like, what is this?
Yeah.
This something about this really radiates, which turns into like with my vocals and stuff. Everyone's like, why do you scream so much in your songs? And it's just like, I don't know, like all the bands growing up, that's how the music went. You know what I mean? Like there was like Disturbed had a lot more like clean and melodic stuff, but David Draymond still like this, like, yeah. So it was like, I don't know, getting into it, just that all the bands screamed, like, especially when Slipknot was the favorite. So like Corey Taylor had that like real aggressive yell, and I'm like, this is like, yeah. And then around that was like 12 at that time, and then about going towards 14, that's when I found like Suicide Silence and Whitechapel, Carnifex, like the deathcore stuff. And that's when it was like, this could get even heavier. Like, what is this? And like, so from there on, the extreme metal, and what solidified me always wanting to be a live musician like that, especially in like the metal, is like I always had like growing up listening to like Sabbath, Metallica, Queen, stuff like that with my mom, Rolling Stones. I always would like daydream and pace around the house with just like me entertaining people. Like I always like making people laugh, being silly. I like entertaining with music. I enjoy, even with TikTok, you see, like I like acting. I'm bad for memorizing parts of like TV shows and movies and just reciting. It would be like, oh, remember this part, and I just verbatim just go through the script. But I always envisioned me doing that. But what really set it into motion was Mayhem Fest 2008 up on the mountain. It was Disturbed and Slipknot were the headliners. And I was just thinking to myself, I was in computer class. I was a freshman in high school. And I was like, I want to see Slipknot. They're my favorite band. I never saw them. I wonder when they're coming around. And I typed in a Slipknot concert, Scranton, PA, and it popped up. It was like August 3rd. My birthday's on the 15th. So it was like right around my birthday. It was like Disturbed, Slipknot, Suicide Silence, Machine Head. And I'm like, real? So I got tickets for my birthday, and that like sold the deal. Is just the opening, like you kick off at like, yeah, be there at 11 o'clock in the morning. The first band is playing at like noon, but they still have like a sea of people. There was the Metal Militia were doing their dirt bike gigs off to the right. I remember because that was when I first heard Five Finger Death Punch. They had their Way of the Fist. Their first album was the only thing they had out, and they were playing, and they sound verbatim how they sounded on the CD. And I remember watching them. They're doing White Knuckles was the song, and off to the right, they're doing the Metal Militia tricks, like the backflips and everything on the dirt bikes. And I'm drinking a can of Monster Energy, and I'm just like standing by merch tents and everything. I'm like, this is a thing. This is a thing.
Yeah. So
that kind of like made that like I need to do this. Like there's no other. This calling.
That's great. That's great. Did you are you a fan of Limp Bizkit?
Mm-hmm. I do.
We at the show this past weekend.
All praise our Lord and Savior Freddie D. Actually, I did not get to go as much as I'd like to. My monetary investments are kind of right now between like the band. We have the loan out for the bus because we got the school bus is retired. We have a new bus where we're adults. We have like bunks and a little mini fridge and stuff like that now. So like we have the loan that we're paying for the bus. Then we have to rent a room because none of us have suitable housing for band practices. Old school. Modern bands are smart and they have electric drum sets and they just put it in their ears like behind the gray.
Mm-hmm.
Will would always be like, all we hear in band practices. Besides that, everything's in the in-ears. But so it's like that, and then all the stuff for like this weekend, like if we're doing that live stream plus getting to the concert, merch orders, pre-orders, stuff for the new CDs, like it's so much cash. And
sure, man.
On my end, I'm trying to like start like almost like a label type thing and clothing brands. I'm like,
I just asked because I was there and I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan growing up in the mid to late '90s, early 2000s, and I didn't know what to expect. I had zero expectations, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the best shows, the most fun shows I've been to in a long time. It was great.
That's Keith Perks was even posting. He was like, dude, it was a blast.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I expected like him and Jason Reed Miller to shit all over it, just because I don't think Keith's into that kind of stuff, and Jason, I don't know if you know Jason or not, but he's just kind of he's grumpy.
it's all good.
But when they were like they were like loving it too. I'm like, wow, man, like maybe I because I'm a fan of Creed too. Like I like Creed, I like Nickelback. So like
Me too.
you know, people can kind of look at my taste in music and be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, his is questionable.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't even care. Almost any band that people rag on, I'm like, yeah, but they're marketing geniuses.
Yeah.
Another one like Kiss and ICP,
Mhm.
both are like top tier marketers.
Yeah.
You find your logo, you have your emblem, and you put that everything. That's like Frank's Red Hot. You put that shit on everything.
Yeah.
Because it will go.
Yeah.
People like collecting weird fucking things.
Yeah.
So